Welcome to Rask's Australian Business Podcast, a series for entrepreneurs who dare to leave the world in a better place and get paid while we do it. This podcast will make you a better business owner, investor, founder, or entrepreneur. If you want to start a business or already have one, please subscribe to the series or share it with your friends, business partner, or colleagues. And don't forget to consider taking our free business course, which includes heaps of templates for creating business plans, HR documents, employee files, all of my software recommendations, and more. The course is completely free and available via the link in your podcast player. Okay, let's get into the episode. So you want to start a business, or you're already in business, and sometimes you don't have time. You just want the answers. Maybe if you admire what we've done at Rask and you want to take some of what we've done and put it into your business, maybe you just want to get the names of some things that might save you time and effort. In this episode of the Australian Business Podcast, I've included a list of my favorite apps, resources, and tools, everything from marketing to design and software. You can find all the links in the show notes or in the free business course on Rask Education. If you haven't already listened to the starter series, please go back and do that. We've got 2 more episodes after this one in our first 12 episodes to help you start your business. As I record this, you should know that we don't earn anything from mentioning these companies in our podcast or in our course. However, in time we might. And so if you're listening to this in 2026 and I'm in 2022, there may be some sort of relationship. We might have a sponsor. One of these guys might be one of our sponsors. In any case, as of right now, we're not making any money from mentioning these names. We're just simply sharing them because these are the tools that have saved me so much money and made me money. Okay, let's get to them. I'm going to start with design. The number one tool that you can use is Canva. Canva is an Australian business. Now, you could pay a designer on Fiverr or Freelancer or get a friend or family member to create things for like Instagram, the website, for your pamphlets and documents, whatever. Normally what happens, right, in a design situation, and this is probably the best way to do it, is you reach out to a designer and you ask them to make you what's called a style guide. You can say, I'm a new business, I need a logo and I need a style guide. And in the style guide, there will be things like what fonts do you use, what color do you use for your brand, what is your logo? So all of that stuff is fantastic. When you do that initial work, it will cost a little bit more to speak to a designer to do that. When you get your logos and your style guide done, make sure your logos are provided to you in transparent background. So you have, a clear background that you can put your logo on anything, a dark format, so where they provide a logo that can be used on dark backgrounds, and a light format that can be used on light backgrounds. You might also choose to ask them for a logo in square and rectangular. Now you can do all of that, or you can use Canva. Canva has a free plan and a pro plan, and you can do it all yourself. It's just like drag and drop. Canva is incredibly easy to create designs, folders, and PDFs like our welcome pack. You can create all of the images like we've created on the Rask websites using Canva. And it's super easy. What you do is you can take a photo of your team members and you can use like the tools to like automatically remove the backgrounds. There are pre-built templates and presto, you're done. Using Canva will save you on design costs. And you won't need Photoshop for most of the things that you do. You won't need any expensive software. So what I would say is use a designer to help you get off the ground with a logo and a style guide with your fonts and your colors, and then use Canva for the rest. If they're experienced, you could even ask them to upload the designs to your Canva account, so then you can use it from there. As an added bonus, if you want merchandise, like you want a jumper, I'm wearing my Rask jumper right now, or you want a mug, or you want business cards or stickers. Not many people know this, but Canva actually can print all of them for you. So you can print all of your works from Canva directly. And the key point is this, it's much better quality than you get through like Vistaprint or any of those other websites. So use Canva for that. When it comes to accounting and business, I always choose Xero. You can use QuickBooks or MYOB, which may be cheaper, MYOB, but Xero is by far my preferred option, and it is, according to all of the numbers, Australia's, New Zealand's, and maybe even the UK's favorite software because it's simple, it's easy to use, and millions of people use Xero. It's actually a Kiwi business that grew up in New Zealand, dominated that market, then dominated Australia, and now it's moving into the UK. It will take care of at least 80% of your accounting needs, meaning that it saves your accountant time, which saves you money, and you can understand it. You can use it to manage payroll, pay your super. You can file your taxes and your financials directly to the ATO. So you click submit and it sends that information straight to the ATO. It will automatically read your bank accounts and match payments if you set up rules. So for example, if you spend $50 at BP service station, you can match that to fuel costs in Xero. And then every time you spend money at that BP, it will automatically say, that's a fuel cost, that's a fuel cost, that's a fuel cost. And so you won't need to do it again and again and again. It will automatically register. The good thing about Xero is it also integrates with most of the software in Australia. So if you have like a HR tool that you use to manage the HR of your business, that should integrate with Xero. It also can integrate with things like Stripe if you take payments. I think it may integrate with Square. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I'm pretty sure it does. And it integrates with all of these different types of technology. So it just means you do less. You get more done with less. My third recommendation is WordPress. People are going to be like, have a shudder down their spine when they hear me say this, but WordPress still powers over 1/3 of the internet. And so it's really widely accepted and it's still super secure. It started as a blogging website, but thanks to new plugins, you can extend a WordPress website. So all of the Rask websites are WordPress websites, for example, and they don't look like a blogging website, do they? And the reason that they don't is that we use pretty cool software. One of my favorite pieces of software for WordPress is a plugin that you can download for free. It's called Elementor. And this is just drag and drop. So you put this on your website and then you can just drag and drop your website. And there's heaps of helpful guides online. So just quickly, how it all works for us at Rask, we use Crazy Domains for our web host. Not for our web host, for buying the URLs. You can buy your URLs from anywhere. And Flywheel securely hosts our website, and then we use Elementor for building websites. But I'm not going to bullshit you here. I'm not going to, pull on your leg here. Making a website with WordPress and Elementor is hard at first. It's fun, but it's hard. There are easier options like Wix.com if you just want to build something super simple, or Shopify.com if you want an e-commerce website where you sell stuff and it integrates with Instagram and Pinterest. If you don't really give a crap about a website and you just want some online presence, you could create a Facebook page, or you could use something called Medium.com. This is like where you create your own little profile on Medium and you can do blog posts and that sort of stuff. There are heaps of different options. But remember this, when it comes to choosing software for your business, always go with the software that is well known and well maintained. Why? Because if you're building software, let's say build a website with some company that's like you never heard of, no one's ever used before, and then all of a sudden that company goes out of business. What are you going to do? The business, your website will probably go down with them and you'll probably lose everything. So focus on platforms like WordPress, even though it's not that nice, it's still the most popular, and build around that, because then you know that it's going to be maintained and the ecosystem is going to be thriving. And if you need to speak to a developer, they'll know what you're using. So that's what I would say. Number 4 is we use Google Workspace at Rask, and you can recommend this, but you can also use Microsoft. You could use many other different tools. But for us, Google Workspace has been the best because our team has been remote. We like working from home or on the road. And Google Workspace you can download whether you're using iOS or Android or Windows. You can download the tools. You can access it all through your browser. This is really simple to set up. You can use it for documents, videos, audio files, anything. There's even a communication tools and stuff as well, although we do use Slack internally. That would be my recommendation there. With Google, you can also create, email addresses. So once you have your web domain, there will be instructions on Google or through your web host or domain provider that can give you a legitimate email address. And that's all managed inside what Google calls Google Admin. And that's where you would log in and set up everyone. So when you create a new employee, you would log into Google Admin, create an employee, give them an email address, and set them all up from there. Number 5, and this is for anyone that has a physical business where you take payments. In-person payments are obviously crucial to your business. So there are a few options you can choose. And I'm going to give you some options that I know of. You may come up with something better, but there are basically two different types of payment providers and two different types of software you need to know about if you're taking payments in store. There is the point of sale software that you use. Again, go with the big recognizable brands here. So point of sale software is the software that you actually key in on the computer or on your iPad, and like roasted peanuts or purchase of an iPhone, whatever. When you click that button and it says, yes, add to cart or whatever you want to do, that is called point of sale software. Choose something big. When it comes to payments, actually accepting the payment, that's a different piece of software typically. It can be all in one, but a lot of the times it's a separate thing. And there are two options for most small businesses that I would recommend. The first is Square. Square allows you to do the point of sale software and the payment in one place, and it's completely off the shelf. Square allows you to basically go down to Officeworks or JB Hi-Fi or wherever you get your Square devices and just use them straight out of the box. All of the trendy cafes use Square. They have like this iPad looking thing, and then they have a way to take payments. But there are some limitations to using Square, and it costs a lot. For example, they might charge you 1 to 1.5% of the transaction every time someone pays you. That's a huge amount for each transaction. So if you're in the situation where you take a lot of card payments, I want to recommend one other piece of software. And this software is, this payment technology is called SmartPay. It's a Kiwi business. It's not very well known. And many of the providers can do this, but SmartPay does it best. And if you're in retail or you're in the restaurant or hospitality industry and you're about to hear this and you haven't heard of this yet, you're going to love this. This company is called SmartPay, and it does its own payment terminal. They'll send it to you in the mail. You can set it up with just plugging in one cable, which is the power cable, and away you go. It's a payment terminal that automatically charges the customer for all of the costs from Visa and MasterCard and the banks. And it does that on the fly, which means that when you as a business owner receive a payment, you don't get a bunch of little transactions that are like 30 cents for this, 25 cents for that, 60 cents for this. It automatically passes it on. And the reason why this technology works is that it's actually not, when you take a payment from a customer, and you'll know this if you run your own business, it's never the same. So it varies depending on which card they use and which payment network is being used. SmartPay calculates all that on the fly, and then it automatically passes that cost on. So at the end of the month or end of the week, you see the payments like very clean with, just what you earn from your customers. For example, if I buy a coffee from a cafe and I would be charged 50 cents with Square, it might be free with SmartPay because the cost is passed on to the customer. And that's a huge difference. There's a link available in the course, but you can head to SmartPay's website and you can see how much you could save. So we've got Square and we've got SmartPay. There are other options like CBA and NAB, but typically the big banks do charge a lot to use their tools. Just keep that in mind. There is a heap of other tools I could recommend, like when it comes to emails or automating everything that you do, whether it's for storing content, creating content, taking payments, whatever. But I'm not going to go through everything all at once. I've got Canva for design, I've got Xero for accounting, WordPress for more advanced websites, or just for basic websites, you can use something like Shopify or Wix, Google Workspace, which you can use on the fly. And for payment terminals, I would use either Square or SmartPay. Square is going to cost you a lot more. SmartPay is going to make your life easier and you're going to make more profit. But there are so many different things and I don't have all the answers for every business. So please send me a message, make a comment by using the Ask a Question function on the Rask website in the menu, or jump into the Rask Core community and I'll answer your questions and give you feedback, or you can give me feedback there, which would be fantastic. So thanks for listening to this episode of the Australian Business Podcast. We have 2 more episodes to go before we're finished with our Business Starters series. Don't forget, you can get all of the workbooks, downloads, and documents and examples on the Rask website. So thanks for listening to this episode.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Australian Business Podcast. I think this series is best served with my free business course on Rask Education. My free course includes all of my notes, templates, employment guides, legal documents, marketing strategies, software recommendation, and ideas for starting and running a small business. If you're a small business owner or an expert like an accountant, lawyer, investor, or entrepreneur, I want to hear from you. I'm not 100% sure what we're going to do with this podcast series, so I'm looking for sponsors, as well as potential co-hosts, and of course I'm eager to invest in businesses run by talented people. If you're looking for a supporter or advisor, a silent partner, or even an investor to support your growth, I can help. Please contact me via the Rask website. Finally, if this podcast or the course helps you, I only ask that you please help me by sharing it with one friend, colleague, or family member who runs a business. Thanks for listening.